dank memes on the internet as well. Enjoying the Intel Extreme Masters with the rest of you guys. Throw us your tweets.
Yeah,
Hashtag
of course.
IEM. That's probably what he's doing right now.
Yeah, keep them coming, guys. Hashtag IEM. Who's going to take Game 5? Will it be this man that has started a remarkable comeback so far? Can he complete it? It is MaSa. That would be another top 4 finish. Like, it's not coincidence anymore if he does it again.
I mean, he's becoming a legend here. I mean, he's certainly earned a lot of my respect. And in the top left, we have the blue Protoss player from Team Millennium. He's ShoWTimE. I gotta say, we were talking about the WCS and points, and MaSa, after the first 2 games, I'm like, well, this is gonna look a little bit dicey for him as far as getting big points here, but now it's come all the way to this. And once again, after a rocky start, he stepped it back.
You saw that it seemed like ShoWTimE was giving himself a little pep talk, you know, while he was in the booth. He's like, come on.
He's like, look, man, you got this, okay? Just probes and pylons, right? Just probes and pylons. Easy peasy.
I don't think that's what he was saying. Probably auf geht's or something, you know, something motivational in German.
Bring back the Meisterschaft?
Yeah. Channel your inner Meister. No, it's a very good point, of course, Nate, because, you know, when you talk about WCS points, when a guy is down 0-2, people at home are probably like,
why are you even mentioning this? He's like going to lose 3-0. But now it's like, oh my God, this could help push him towards the global playoffs at the end of the year.
Yep, because, I mean, he's currently sitting in the 9th spot of the rankings.
Very close.
Yeah, so, you know, just a big finish here that will give him such a boost. And
not that many tournaments left to get those points, boys.
And let's not forget, I mean, Montreal's kind of home sore for him as well. So, you know, there is a chance that maybe that gives him wings over there. And
I
he can
see
perform
this.
better than he's ever done.
If MaSa takes this series and then in a crazy world moves even further forward after this, a good finish at Montreal, it doesn't need to be tip-top, could cement him there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It gives him that opportunity, and it's just a big boost, a big hope for him. And you know, he's got that thing that he's hungry for, right? When you look at ShoWTimE, he's already kind of got that locked in a bit.
Are we going to have a Canadian and an American at the WCS Global Playoffs?
My heart might just stop, Kevin, to show up and ask if I can cast in a USA flag shirt.
While having a bottle of maple syrup in your hand, of course.
Yeah, we'll bring the maple syrup and a bald eagle on my shoulder.
Yes, that would be sick. Get both. All right, this Reaper is actively scouting. Obviously, the last thing you ever want to lose to in Game 5 is a proxy Stargate or a proxy Robo, for that matter. It's something that has happened as well. But that's not the case. ShoWTimE is opening solid, as we expect him, of course. He's not Haas. He's not going to roll the dice in Game 5.
He's not going to build an 8-pylon wall.
And ShoWTimE is probably just hitting himself to the head, you know, like, why did I let this series go crazy? When everything was going normal and I was opening up very safe and solid, everything was going my way. Even on Frost, you know, his opening was very macro-oriented, but then suddenly something shifted and he's like, you know, I picked up that first medevac. He probably doesn't have that much. I can just counterattack with Blink Stalkers and win, you know, and grab my spot in the semifinals. But it didn't happen. While if he would have just macroed his way up, keep the Stalkers at home, there's a good chance that game would have gone very different if he would have just dropped some forges. So he's probably quite frustrated with himself.
Yep, that Reaper gets in and out. Doesn't see, I don't believe it's
in and out while we're here.
Don't believe he saw the Twilight.
You're teasing me now.
Oh yeah.
In and out references while we're in China.
That's only 6,600 miles away.
Be ready.
Somewhere in the world right now there is a guy eating that while watching us, and we envy that man.
And he's smiling.
Yes, he's like, that's right, guys.
Wrecked. So a little bit of spy lock there as he's trying to get that Widow Mine coming up. We have just Marines in this medevac heading north. So with 3 gateways he'll have access to soon. Interested to see how much he can get done with this.
Picked up the Reaper. I kind of like it. I mean, why not? It's a little bit of extra firepower. He could potentially throw a grenade. He could pick up the probe.
Yeah, delay the 3rd base. That's a nice play because he's got the money to start that Nexus.
Hey, he could work on that pylon from the low ground. Wow.
Ooh, he's going to come here, overcharge it.
You can also float an overcharge from the high ground. Deja vu.
And pylons got range.
But still, it's nice. No 3rd base yet. I mean, in the other game, it was
Delaying
4
the
minutes.
3rd this much, I think, is already a pretty big success, as long as he doesn't throw all of this away. But Blink's not really close enough to do that.
Very well done by ShoWTimE, that he kept. Oh, there's that triple mine drop again. Stalkers are out of position.
He's pulling that army all the way out.
Mothership Core is out of position, Nate. There's only a single pylon that's going to cover that mineral line. Even losing this medevac is not that bad, guys. MaSa's buying time for his Widow Mines. This is all right.
He's going to get the medevac, but yep, there we go, towards the natural expansion. The flyby, 1, 2, and nope.
Good reaction by ShoWTimE.
Yep.
But does he have something in the main?
Very quick response. Now that's a good start.
No more photon overcharge, so
The mines are going to burrow, but we have the observer here, so it gets 2 probes. And that should be all she wrote.
Yep. Scan. Kill the ops.
Bye-bye. Yeah, that's the cheeky one. Every time I try that, it just doesn't work, man. That's like the worst feeling. When it works, you're like, ah, I'm such a god. And then it's like,
still
you scan and all you do is watch your mine die like in HD. You're like, no.
Still, it was quite a bit of damage, and let's not forget, there is no forge yet, no resonating glaives. It's pretty similar to what we saw on Frost, and again, we do see a Liberator as well. I mean, this time ShoWTimE doesn't have a third, excuse me, MaSa doesn't have a third CC yet, so he actually has a lot of production to deal with crazy amount of Blink Stalkers. But now we do see ShoWTimE start charge, and that excites me very much.
Yeah,
Nate.
we haven't seen as much of that. I know you like this style a lot. I mean, those Zealots with charge are so strong, they're very fast, but they also do 8 damage on impact with enemy units.
I am the ambassador of charge in PvT.
That's true.
I embrace that role.
You speak on behalf of all charge, all charge zealots. The Charge Zealot Union comes and speaks for you for Charge Zealot rights.
They needed a president.
You guys pushed for that always hit, right? When the concussive shell was overpowered in Wings of Liberty?
And what can I say? Me and David are very close, and I gave him this idea. And he wasn't a fan of it first, but I then gave him a bottle of Jack Daniels, and he said, you know what, Ronnie, that's a great idea. Let's put 8 damage on the impact.
And now Zealots just, they hit a little bit harder when they charge on you.
That was, of course, a fake story, guys. Don't get mad at David.
He's a good guy. Twilight Templar Archives is close to halfway done. Much more gateways being added in, and this can kind of go to this charge-led arcade. Yeah. I mean, I always like Zealots against siege tanks as well.
Me too, man, and I love Zealots against 2 base pushes as well. Take a look at the gateway count. He currently has 3. He's gonna work with 8 gate. Okay, this I find very strange. This is a super late third CC.
Yeah, I would like to say, justice once again though, that there's still, I was still triggered a little bit by the lack of any forges.
Okay. Sorry, Nate, like I've been in this situation so many times. It's going to be very important how ShoWTimE engages. Like Zealots are absolutely phenomenal, but don't run down this ramp here in the middle, because that's often where Zealots run ahead of the Adepts and the Immortals and whatever else you have. Run outside of Pylon and Guardian Shield, and that could be a very bad engagement for ShoWTimE. If ShoWTimE just patiently waits on the high ground, then I think eventually he will always get a very good fight. Oh, I love this as well. A couple of Zealots in the main base. Great play by the German Protoss.
Prism's still alive. Going to add 4 additional Zealots into the main
Forcing
base.
MaSa to come back.
The whole entire army's coming back, and he was going for a 2-base push. Well, that's awkward. I mean, he's got quite a few SCVs exposed here. These Marauders getting attacked. And actually, if the tanks shoot at those Zealots, well, I mean, they might just kill the siege tanks themselves. But I was going to say, could actually splash his own workers and kill them.
I mean, good job there by MaSa picking up all the tanks, but still they took quite a bit of damage. So that also means the next fight. Look at ShoWTimE. He's going to go
Save
that Prism.
Save the Prism. And get a Liberator.
Wow.
Nice.
I mean, this was great for ShoWTimE. Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he did so much damage there. He also delayed the 3rd command center. MaSa was not building it all this time, just now.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Ooh. I didn't notice that. That's pretty bad. But he's got nothing.
I mean, ShoWTimE is being aggressive. He doesn't have to be aggressive.
No, I mean, the Terran player's on 2 bases. Your Protoss on 3. I mean, couldn't he just drop a 4th Nexus and just keep jamming?
And that's what he's going to do, and that's what you absolutely should do here. I mean, you can also even drop a few more gateways. 8 gateways is great, but 11 or 12, Nate, that's truly paradise. But he's getting his forge now as well.
And you've always been able to leverage more warp gates when you're using a Zealot Archon type of army anyway, because you know, the balance of gas versus minerals.
I mean, everything is going ShoWTimE's way. But this game is still far from over. I mean, army supply, MaSa is definitely in this one. He's even a tiny bit ahead. But this time ShoWTimE is working with more than just a couple of Blink Stalkers. He's got charge. He's going to have double forge soon. Obviously, you want to chrono boost out those upgrades of the double forge forever. I think the only thing that MaSa can do is just sing this one out. Like whatever push he had in mind, he couldn't do anymore after the Prism made its way into the base. And look at this super early Stargate by ShoWTimE. He's always been a Protoss that likes to rush into those templates.
This is so smart because MaSa's realizing one of the only ways he can bring this back is with Liberators that have range. I mean, they're basically the most powerful unit that Terran has against Protoss armies, but by the time that happens, you just...
Was excellent on Galactic Process, so maybe he can still miraculously sneak his way into the semifinals, but for now, things are starting to look very, very dicey for him.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the amount of resources that ShoWTimE has as well. If he needs to drop another huge wave of Zealots, he can. Well, he does. There you go.
So
8 Zealots.
That was a beautiful warp in. Gave me flashbacks of that Legacy of the Void animation trailer.
That's the cinematic right there, boys. Ship it. Now, this Liberator is going to try to siege up on the natural from behind. I do believe it
that pylon
is in range of the pylon.
Yeah,
just got to overcharge it.
And
Storm is finishing. Oracle's coming out.
Well done there.
Liberator range is halfway done.
ShoWTimE could potentially wipe in a Stalker. That's not what he's going to do, so this is actually going to be a little bit annoying. This buys MaSa some time. Now things are still not going his way, guys. Even if he will have advanced ballistics, the first Tempests are already on the way. Now once again, ShoWTimE has always been a Protoss that rushes up to those Tempests.
It's so smart. Like I said, the ranged Liberators deal with pretty much everything you can.
And it's a little bit awkward that he opened the door all the way on the left side, but he left units behind. These units are a move command.
Wow.
Well done, ShoWTimE, having Adepts and Immortals there.
Move commanding into Immortals feels bad, man. These Marines are going to chase. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, if you max out with Bio, then it can be great, but it's always going to be the Templar that really give it to you. And it's like what happened on Galactic Process, but he doesn't have Ghosts this time. So I feel like ShoWTimE is really taking a commanding position in terms of this late game, but it's still very hard to engage. If he were to push through this Liberator field, he would lose the game. I don't see any way he could just take those losses.
The counter drop doing something. Feedback would actually kill the majority of these medevacs. I love it, man. ShoWTimE's everywhere. He's got enough units at home to defend. He's attacking the fort, and he's applying a lot of pressure on the natural. And at the same time, Nate, he started 3-3 and his 5th base. I mean, this is Protoss Kingdom. That's a nice pickup for MaSa.
Yeah, 2 nice Templar he's able to grab, and he's going to shoot at these pylons, but there is the overcharge available to help clean this up.
Marauder is hanging in there like a champ. Big engagement actually in the natural. A couple of storms will rain down. Even the SCVs were pulled there for a split second. How high is the Tempest?
Revelation so frustrating in this scenario because if you're MaSa, the last thing you want to do is fight. You need to pull him into your army. You need to pull him into the liberation zones. Oh God, so many storms. Oh, that was bad.
Yeah, I mean, suddenly MaSa dropped 20 supply, and this Tempest count is just getting higher and higher, and is getting awfully close to the production, to the SCV, to the mineral line.
Beautifully played series. Beautifully played series by ShoWTimE here. I mean, a bit scrappy the last few games, but MaSa's going to come out one more time and try to fight this army. He can't do it. GG. ShoWTimE advances on.
Excellent game 5 there by the German Protoss. Just did so many more things right, Nate. And this time he transitioned in time. He got charged, he got the fortress, he took his fort base when he could, and he just did such a phenomenal job. That War Prism with the Zealot, I really think that was almost the beginning of the end for MaSa, because it slowed that command center down.
It didn't just also slow his attack, it stopped it. He pulled all the way home. At that point, the Protoss was like, well, just take the fourth. You're only on 2 bases.
Man.
Wow.
What a series though, awesome series. I'm so happy that it went to game 5. MaSa again with a performance he can definitely be proud of. He 3-1 to the Drogo in the round of 16 and put up one hell of a fight against ShoWTimE in the round of 8, but this will be the end for him. However, the German Protoss, he's going to advance to the semi-finals.
Such a great series, such great games, and we got to see a lot of really cool stuff there. It's so difficult when you're playing around with that economy like in that last game for someone like MaSa, because if at that moment you're like, all I really need are those ghosts from the other game, because that's what cements your position to be able to erase those Templar, and then you pull everything but the kitchen sink and you just go right on top of those Tempests.
I really think this was the type of series that had a little bit of everything. Super entertaining for us, but could have been perhaps a little nerve-wracking for the man himself who just secured his ticket to the semi-finals. As always, we'll head to a very small break, and after that we'll be back with an interview with ShoWTimE.
We're here at the Intel Extreme Masters Shanghai with our most recent winner, ShoWTimE, to talk about his game against MaSa. ShoWTimE, you had a night to prep. You knew you were going to play MaSa. How did you get ready for this matchup?
Basically, I just watched some VODs of him. He played like a best of 5 against Jogo one round earlier, so that was quite helpful for me. And in general, I kind of know how he plays. He's like a very tricky player, likes to pull out some crazy strats every now and then. So I just try to scout as much as possible and play it safe, basically.
In the last few tournaments, it's been pretty consistent that you go up 2-0, and then people come back and tie the series up 2-2. A very close series, and that happened again today. For a long time, it seemed like MaSa was fighting this uphill battle, and then he brought it back. So what were you struggling against versus him?
I'm not really sure. Like, as I said, I always go up 2-0, and then it goes like 3-2. And I don't really know why, to be honest. Like, I think at the beginning, in the first 2 games, I play very well because I have it like prepared, the build exactly. And then I'm not really sure. Like, it just goes downhill from there. So yeah, I don't know.
All right. Well, some map-specific questions. In map number 1, things were going kind of okay. But it is King Sejong, and he had this very scary kind of Liberator and tank evac count, and you made the decision to get a DT shrine and just to walk past his army and base trade. Was this because you felt behind? Was it something to do with the map? Talk us through that decision.
I think King Sejong is a pretty difficult map for Protoss in general, because there's so many narrow paths. Like against Terran, if they have like tanks and Liberator, it's really hard to engage the army. So, as you said, I went for the base trades, and it's kind of fun because at Home Story Cup, the same thing happened, and back then he won. But this time, I managed to like get a few more stalkers to like kill his Liberators. So this time, yeah, I was pretty happy that it worked out for me.
Yeah, it went really well. One more question. Map 2, New Gettysburg. I was sitting there with Uthermal, I was watching, and he was saying, he's like, I hate this map, man. Like, TvP, this is really hard. What are your thoughts on that map? I mean, you defended very well. You went straight into the counter War Prism pressure. Do you like that map? Is it one of your favorites? And just generally, how did you feel with that game?
Yeah, I think it's pretty much the best map for Protoss out of the new maps. So, yeah, that's pretty much my favorite map. I think in the whole map pool right now, maybe. I think it's really good for Protoss.
It's good for defending. You've looked good in P.
Yeah. The winner? Well, they're both like extremely strong. I think like Hydra is maybe like top 2 Circ here behind Nurture, and Neep is maybe the best Protoss, I would say. So it's going to be a really hard match, but I'm still pretty confident, to be honest. Like PvP against Neep, I used to win a lot. Now PvP is very weird, but we'll see, I guess. And Hydra is really strong against Protoss as well, but I think he has some weaknesses, and I think I can win against both.
Do you think that now that you've made it past the round of 16, you're past the round of 8, do you feel a little more confident in the play? Are you good to go for the rest of the tournament, or do you still have any concerns?
I think like the early rounds are always a bit more tricky for me, because if you lose in the early rounds, it kind of feels like you have like achieved nothing basically. So the pressure goes away a bit for me when I get into like deeper into the tournament. So yeah.
All right, we showed us some great games. It was excellent PvT. Really enjoyed it. Pig, ShoWTimE, thank you for joining me on the couch. We're going to send it back to our analysis desk. Kalaris?
Thank you very much, Lycan, as we have ShoWTimE bagging himself a spot in the round of 4, securing $5,000 for his efforts, so not a bad chunk of change from flying from Germany, Tom.
He bagged it, did he?
Bagged it. Scooped it up, man. Like,
yeah. He's far from done. I like what he said about, being a little bit more nervous in the early rounds. Yeah. And it feels like there are a lot of players like this that either, bomb out early in the tournament or do very, very well. And right now for ShoWTimE, it's definitely looking like it might be the latter in this tournament, because he's played really, really well.
Unfortunately for MaSa, his road does come to the end, but for now we can actually take a look at some of the highlights from that series as a whole, Funker, after we briefed over Game 3.
There's a lot to be shown, as it was a 5-game series, and especially this first game, those tanks pick up with the DTs were so crucial in a situation where you want to take out all these units that are so useful in a base trade, like Liberators, like tanks. And really ShoWTimE has been to me, he's been really decisive in this game. Like, usually you'd never base trade against the Terran. You never base trade in Legacy of the Void with Liberators, but yet he did make it work in this game.
It felt like the War Prism might be sniperable there, but MaSa ended up pulling back. And yeah. I mean, self-explanatory.
That's just for the Protoss fans, you know, so they feel happy. We just showed those storms.
That's just for flavor.
Exactly.
You put
Pretty
these in
nice.
there.
But whenever you were talking about it before, or I guess they were talking about it during the interviews. Whenever ShoWTimE comes into these best-of-5 series, sometimes he goes up 2-0, and then it's almost like he's too calm to a point where it's like. He goes into these games, he drops 1, he drops 2, and then we see the first amount of emotion that he actually makes in the booth where he, like, you know, does that little bit of a facepalm. He finally does break it through.
I think he could have ended there, actually, if he didn't lose the Prism later on.
Yeah, just right there.
Yeah, that just died there. I think, like, if he blinked everything in the main, moved with the Prism in the main and warped in there, he might have won. But then, when you're stuck on gateway units with lower upgrades than the Terran and you're facing that many Liberators, usually you are having a bad time, right?
This game was kind of crazy. I mean, there were multiple fights that ShoWTimE shaded underneath multiple Liberators. I was getting really scared for him at that moment in Game 4, where it was just like, he keeps taking these fights that are just not going to go well.
Well, that's kind of what I wanted to ask, actually. How much in Games 3 and 4 were a little bit earlier Liberators from MaSa a determinant factor of him actually pushing himself forwards in these games, Funko?
I mean, Liberators are always like a really, really useful tool in PvT, obviously. But no, that's just, you know, the difference between ShoWTimE and Zest. He actually loses game.
Wow.
You know? Like, he doesn't go 3-0. He goes 2-0, then goes into 2-2. So we get a little bit of suspense, you know?
Did you see ShoWTimE's tweet on the matter? He said
What
that
did he
at
say?
least he never lost to Snoot 0-3.
Oh, yeah.
Which was hilarious, actually.
I'm
Poor
sure
Zest will
Zest,
be
man.
happy when he hears